not saying that you shouldn't take care of your health, but if that is all you're focused on, it's very feminine, because the idea of a attractive man is a man that is robust and willing to risk his life to save his family. And that could mean death in certain instances. So a big, strong male will die earlier than a weaker, a smaller male, but the big, strong male will have more social status and benefits and opportunities because of the fact that he's the big, strong male risking his life. But yes, he'll live shorter. He'll get into more battles. There'll be more confrontation. And so there's this balance between, okay, what do we do to be this big, strong male without dying so quickly? Unfortunately, some drugs are just not in the conversation. They're just not. For e.g., any amount of cocaine is neurotoxic. Doesn't work that way with caffeine. You have to have 100 fucking cups of the shit. Nicotine, same situation. You can't compare nicotine to fentanyl. You can't compare someone on 100 milligrams a week of testosterone to 1,000. Vastly different outcomes. One improves heart health. One makes the heart mass so big that you die early. Makes it a floppy piece of shit. So when you hear this advice, it's great advice. And I know that I said it the other day. I said it on a reel, and you can see the cope. Let's have a look at the cope, because that reel's getting a lot of attention.
You want to put it up here?
TLDR.
Well,
we don't need to put up the whole
Instagram.
reel. I just said stay away from drugs, alcohol, especially psychedelics, people here in Bali. And of course, you had all this cope in the section. Now, what these people don't realize is that if we double click on their profile, they would have to be people living a life that we would aspire to, that most people would aspire to. And then you look at them and I think, brother, you're delusional. You are the very person that we don't want to be like. Go to a different channel. You are the example I'm talking about. But these people are so delusional. Now, you think that mushrooms and other psychedelics would make most people more chill. They don't. A lot of these people remain erratic and they get very delusional, bro. They go into this new fucking world. I've seen it many times with friends, okay? The problem with psychedelics, as opposed to a drug like caffeine, even amphetamine, is that there is a lack of pharmacological determinism. Meaning, if I give you mushrooms, me mushrooms, and Bob mushrooms, the experience we all have can be vastly different. Now, that is a concern because there's too many unknown unknowns with regards to the experience and then the outcome at the end of the drug experience, which is why you see some people love mushrooms, hate mushrooms, they freaked out, this person got A from it, this person got B. But when you give someone 5 milligrams of dexamphetamine, it's relatively predictable with regards to what's going to happen, globally speaking, physiologically speaking, as well as the psychological side effects. Okay, so some drugs are safer as a result of pharmacological determinism. And I try to stay within a class of drugs that are A, milder with their global effects, B, they don't affect the psyche almost at all, and C, they are pharmacological deterministic drugs. Caffeine and nicotine are pure examples. Testosterone within the physiological range, that's usually between 80 to 150 milligrams per week, that, although it's a hormone, let's call it a drug in this instance, is pharmacologically deterministic with regards to what you're going to get from it. Maintain muscle mass, maintain erectile quality, maintain libido, mental acuity, all the good stuff. As soon as you add in something like trenbolone, which is a derivative, which is an anabolic androgenic steroid, you start to enter a drug where the outcomes are less predictable. Yet people will bucket testosterone and tren and anavar all in the same bucket. But realistically, with regards to outcomes, separate as to what you see under a microscope, it's very different. And we see very different effects physiologically and psychologically. So yes, guys, I'll just say it one more time. Unless you are an exception to the rule, and there will be them. Maybe you are a PTSD veteran, you need some sort of psychedelic experience to deal with something that's, the last straw, the last resort. Okay, you're an elite boxer and you understand that meldonium, EPO, anabolic steroids, you're going to need this to win the next fight because your opponent is taking it. You're the best, he's the best. It's all about the last 1%. Outside of that, stay away from drugs and alcohol completely. Now, this part offends people a lot. Not even a drink. Not even a drink. Don't come to me. Don't come to me and talk to me about depression, anxiety, feeling lost, any of it, until you've literally been sober for 5 years. That's how long it took me to recover from this stuff. But people don't want to hear this. They want to hear, I quit alcohol tomorrow. I can still have a bender once every month or two and I'll be sweet. No.
Zero.
Zero.
So, I was at Reload the other day and, there's a lot of party people in the scene, the socialistas at that gym. And one of the guys, everyone coming up to me saying, hi, did you party this weekend? I don't know, some festivals back-to-back was happening in Uluwatu. And then I was like, no, I didn't go. And then another buddy of mine came and said, what's going on? Did you go? And I said, bro, I'm just over that. Like, who wants to go to a club and mean mug everyone? You're just looking at everyone. You can't talk. And it's too loud. How do you enjoy that? He goes, oh, bro, the only way you enjoy it is if you get on it. Meaning, like, drugs, not alcohol. And I was like, yeah, but what's the point? He goes, because when you're on it, it's the best time.
And I put them all in the same bucket anyway.
So you have to do drugs to have a good time. You have to go to a location that's terrible, but you have to do drugs to have a good time. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if I may.
Please.
If I may push back, because that's just sort of what I do, because I'm a disagreeable little cunt. Let me rewind to when I was 20, when we were 20 doing that. I genuinely did enjoy it. I did. But I was a fucking loser. It's very simple. I was enjoying it. It was enjoyable. The next day I would still say it was worth it at the time, but I was a fucking loser. You're a fucking loser because you are losing out to someone not doing that. Who knows what I could have become if I didn't do that? Started thinking about money earlier, became an athlete earlier, focused on my health earlier, had a family earlier. Who knows? So yeah, I get that it's enjoyable, but you're a fucking loser.
And it's fine. You're just going through your loser phase.
You're going through a loser phase, but just accept you're a fucking loser.
But don't let that phase take over your life and be a 45-year-old guy in Bali still doing drugs and partying.
Bro, you could be, what's his name, DJ Khaled?
Yeah.
I don't know what he does or doesn't do, but the fact that he's that overweight, I would absolutely 100% hate to be him, bro. You can't convince me to be like certain people because they have some celebrity status. I need to aspire to be someone with a 6.5 out of 10 in just about every area. Give me a Steve Jobs, hate to be him. Looks frail. I can't aspire to be like any of these people just because they're popular. I'm not saying popularity doesn't matter. It increases your social status. I think it's a good thing, overall speaking, depending on what you're popular for, But
I'm going to move that down because it's covering your mouth.
Oh, is it covering my mouth?
Yeah, it's covering your mouth.
Maybe we can do that then?
Yeah.
That's better. But you just have to be a 6 out of 10 in most of those areas in order to be satisfied.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed with these mushroom people, because they congregate in circles where suffering is expected, they subscribe to the notion that everyone has some sort of trauma. That's just how they think. If you are someone that criticizes their way of healing, they think this is an insecure guy who must be struggling. They can't accept the fact that you don't need mushrooms, you don't have a trauma, you're satisfied, your life is good. They are pessimists. They are effectively pessimists. And you can only be someone who's truly satisfied in life and happy unless you go through their funky, weird, hippie little method of healing. As if to suggest you must need healing from something. Have you ever heard of people? It's good for healing. I think, heal what? Have you heard this stuff with juice cleansers and stuff? Cleanse what? Detox? What am I detoxing, bro? I'm not detoxing. I'm living.
Keeps covering your mouth. You can't see it here either. You should definitely detox from parasites, especially if you live in Bali.
But what parasite? I don't have parasites. You don't prophylactically detox. You're not symptomatic. It's so delusional, these people, all right?
Really? Wait. There's people that say you should have the parasite killer pills once every 2 months if you live in Bali.
It's not necessarily that. There's just some sort of part of the week or month where they proactively do shit to heal from something. The same with the ice bath and sauna. These therapies are absolutely 100% helpful for certain things. 100%. If you're an athlete and you're doing an ice bath sauna day, it can absolutely 100% help with recovery. But you're an athlete. That's all you do all day long. You don't have to do an ice bath and sauna if you don't fucking need it. I'm not training that much to need this recovery and soft tissue massage. I'm not wasting my fucking time. After this stream, we're boxing, I'll have coffee, I'll go to the gym, come home. The sleep is enough. I'm not injured. I'm not needing extra recovery. I'm not waking up cooked like you. Do you see what I'm saying? They they believe, they presume that everyone is going through something. Have you seen this movement where it's about healing and everyone's suffering? I think, bro, I hate to break it to you, but there are actually people out there that just don't think about this stuff. They're just by default happy. They don't even think about whether or not they're happy. That's how happy they are. My tata, my family, we're like a happy sort of family, genetically speaking.
Yeah.
And the reason I know we're a happy family, genetically speaking, is because I never met a single family member who isn't super joyful until they abuse drugs and alcohol. They consume a poison and it makes them depressed. They stop consuming the poison and they stop being depressed. That is the only time in my life where I felt depression from abusing substances. So you stop the substances and you heal. I have compassion for people going through these states. I do. Because I almost just about lost my fucking mind. I had depersonalization where I felt like I was in a video game after smoking too much marijuana and Ekis. Was crazy, bro. I'd look at my hand and think, is that me? Am I here? Am I Daniel? It was cooked. Proper cooked.
Wow.
And it's all a result of drug taking. When are these people just going to wake up that it's not your situation, it's not your missus, it's not what's happened to you or has not happened to you in life. It's the fact that you just can't put down the fucking bottle, cunt. I refuse to listen to anyone about their situation or their traumas if they are consuming alcohol or drugs. I just won't listen to them.